Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be a quick preview of week 3, and I'll pick every game of this slate. I was gonna do a Thursday night football recap, but the game was not that good. And there wasn't a lot to go over. Good team. One of the best teams plays one of the worst teams. You're gonna get a really bad game. And nothing really happened during it. I thought Daniel Jones was okay. Brock Purdy had a couple bad drives, but it didn't matter because the team is so good. You can tell the Giants are really missing Saquon. Um, And yeah, the Giants, I thought they were going to be all right this year, but they might be one of the worst teams in football. But anyways, let's get to the preview. The spreads I'll be using are from my bookie. Uh, I'll be using this unless if someone wants to sponsor in the future. Um, so we'll start with the Patriots at the Jets. The spread is 2.5. I'll go minus 2.5 Patriots. I think Zach Wilson always struggles against Bill Belichick. Um, and this is one of those games where I just don't see how the Jets are going to score, except for like maybe a pick six or something. Um, the total is at 36.5, which is a very low total, which tells you a lot about this game. I bet there'll probably only be like one touchdown scored in it. But yeah, I think the Patriots will win that. And if they don't, going down 0-3 is uh like red flags for the Patriots because that should not happen with Bill Belichick, especially against the Jets. So I think they should win at minus 2.5. Next we have Chargers at Vikings. The line is Vikings -1. This game is really interesting because both these teams are 0-2. And both of these teams, their defenses are non-existent at the moment, despite having what are supposed to be good coaches and coordinators. Like Brandon Staley is supposed to be a very good defensive coach, but it doesn't look like it this season. And all the like blunders are coming on the defensive side of the ball. And then the Vikings, they have Brian Flores as their defensive coordinator this first year doing that. And I think he's he's very good. It's just the Vikings, they don't have the personnel for it. Whereas the Chargers, their issue is more on coaching. Like they do have the personnel for it, but I think it's more on coaching. Like last week, we saw Ryan Tannehill was hitting deep balls on them. It's like if Ryan Tannehill is doing that, you have problems schematically. Uh, so I think I'll pick the Vikings here -1. Just taking money line at that point. Um, I think Justin Jefferson is probably gonna eat. Interesting stat I saw about the Chargers is like Justin Herbert has been perfect. They scored like I think 59 points, and Herbert has had 0 turnovers, and they're still 0-2, and that just tells you how bad Brandon Staley is, I think. And until they fire him, they just have no shot of actually making like real noise. So I'll go Vikings money line there. Total is at 54, which tells you like I pretty sure that would go over. Like that's a very high total, but these teams just they they will not stop. There's going to be very few drives where they actually get stops. Next we have Indianapolis Colts at Baltimore Ravens. The line is 8. I think I'll take Baltimore minus the 8. It seems like Lamar always does a really good job beating teams that he's supposed to beat and doing it handedly. Also on the Colts, I think Richardson is questionable, so Minshew will play, and Minshew is like, I don't know, Minshew can struggle at times. Um, and also because of that, their run game will take a hit. I just don't see Baltimore losing this game, so I'll take them to cover the 8. Next is Denver at Miami. This one's kind of interesting. Miami has covered 2 in a row, and I think has looked like the best team in the NFL with the Niners behind them. Um, a lot of people are taking Denver plus the 6.5, which I get is a lot of points. Sorry, excuse me. And Denver's offense has looked better this year, but their defense has taken a step back. I'm not really sure why that is, but it's taken a step back, and I don't know why. So a lot of people are on Denver, and I get it, but I think what some people are forgetting is that it's currently September, and Miami gets very hot. And like an interesting fact, the way that Miami's stadium is set up, it's set up so that like the visitor sideline gets no shade. They're just out in the sun for the whole game during the 1 o'clock hour. And in the past, you've seen teams like really be fatigued from that. It's kind of something people don't think about, and people don't like to make excuses and whatnot. And I get it, but that's something that plays a factor. And you're going to be covering Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and that's really going to take a lot of effort and energy. Um, so I think I lean Miami to lay the 6.5. Like I said, they've covered 2 in a row. Their offense is probably the best in the league right now. So yeah. Next is Tennessee at Cleveland. The spread is 3.5. Cleveland's favored. I think I'd take, or no, yeah, Cleveland's favored. I think I'll take Cleveland. If I was picking it, I would probably buy it to 2.5. Um, Cleveland's defense has looked very good, and Ryan Tannehill isn't that good against good defenses. This will probably be low scoring. All Cleveland has to do is not let Deshaun Watson lose them this game, which is what he did last week. So I think they'll bounce back. I don't think they'll let that happen 2 weeks in a row. And for this game, I just don't know where Tennessee's offense is going to come from because I don't know. Cleveland's defense looks very good. So I'll take Cleveland minus 2.5. Um, the total's set at 39.5. I'm not going to pick it, but I would probably lean under. because I really think this is going to be low scoring. Next is New Orleans at Green Bay. Green Bay is favored -1.5, but I'd probably just take them money line. Uh, I think New Orleans, like most of their offense comes from throwing the ball. If Kamara was playing, I'd probably take them here because Green Bay doesn't really defend the run that well, but they do defend the pass pretty well. Um, so Derek Carr is gonna have to play like really well. He's gonna have to make some tough throws to beat them, which I'm not sure he can really do anymore in his career. Um, Jordan Love, he hasn't played at home yet. This is their home opener. And he's looked pretty good these first two games. I think he's one of the highest rated quarterbacks in the league right now. I don't have the stats up right now. I probably should have put that up earlier. Um, New Orleans does have a good defense, but I feel like Green Bay's passing defense is gonna win them this game. And yeah, so I take them money line. Next is the Houston Texans at the Jags. Jags are favored 8.5. They need a bounce back spot, and I think the Texans are a good team to bounce back against. They have some injuries. If Josh Allen plays, they should be able to get a couple of sacks, but he's questionable right now. Um, Last week, Chris Jones just dominated their O line, and you could really tell. But I think Cam Robinson is his name. I might have messed that up. He's back from suspension. That should help their O line. Um, and last week, Trevor Lawrence had four passes in the red zone or in the end zone that like went out of bounds. He threw his receivers out of bounds, and like none of them counted. Uh, so like they're almost there. Like they're almost there. Um, I'm gonna take the Jags. I'd probably 8.5 is I don't like that number, especially against the Texans. They kind of historically just play tough against the Jags. I think you can buy this down to 6.5 for for -160. So I'd probably take the Jags um -6.5. Also, I think Calvin Ridley is going to have a good game. He was kind of quiet last week. Um, Next, we have Buffalo at Washington. The line is 6.5. I'm going to take Washington plus 6.5. And I know it sounds crazy, but their defensive line is pretty good. And the way Josh Allen plays, he's like a time bomb with his interceptions. And I feel like the pressure that Washington can create is going to make him have a couple turnovers, and I think they'll make it close. Washington's a good team. I've been saying that since the offseason when people were saying that they were only going to win like 5 games. I think they're a good team. So I think they'll cover the 6.5. They could win outright, but I'd be pretty surprised at that happening. So yeah, I'll take them plus 6.5. Next, we have Atlanta at Detroit. I'm going to take Detroit -3. I haven't really looked too much into this game. I know Goff plays well at home, and I know the Lions lost CJ Gardner Johnson, but the Falcons don't trust Ritter to throw at all, and he's not really when he does throw. I mean, you can live if Desmond Ritter beats you passing, you just have to live with it because it's rarely going to happen. And I think the Lions can stop the run. I'll take Lions -3. Next is Carolina at Seattle. I think I'll take Seattle -6.5 because Carolina, their offense is non-existent. They have 2 touchdowns so far through 2 weeks. And I think Bryce Young is playing through an ankle injury. I think he's playing. I don't think he's out. I think he's playing. But what makes Bryce Young good is being able to bail the pocket and make plays, and doing that on a bad ankle is going to make that even tougher. Um, I think Gino probably figured it out last week. He looked much better, and Seattle's still got good receivers. I'll take them -6.5 at home. Next is Chicago at Kansas City. This one's kind of tough because Kansas City they're so good that the number that sportsbooks set is so high that they win and don't cover it. But Chicago is a dumpster fire right now. Like Justin Fields called out his coaches. They had a coordinator leave this week. They look they're just horrible. Uh I'll take Kansas City -12.5. I really have no idea about this one. Um Basically Fields called out his coaches, and I get that their coaches are bad, like the game plans are bad. They have too many screen passes, and some of their play designs, like the routes, are very bad. They have receivers running into each other half the time. But they also have some plays, I'm sure you guys have seen, they have receivers just like wide open, and Fields is just missing them, not even like he'll look at an open receiver and just won't throw it, or he'll hold the ball for too long, or he'll run into sacks. So Fields just looks awful. Coaches and play design is awful. And so yeah, I'll take the Chiefs. And also I think the Bears, like I think you probably want to bet against them every single week until they can prove that like they're capable of beating an NFL team. Because right now it looks like they're gonna go 0-17. Next is Dallas at Arizona. Um, I'll take Dallas -12.5 because I don't know how Arizona is going to score. Like Dallas's defense just looks like there's literally no weak points. Even if Dak like turns it over, it's not really gonna matter. Um, so yeah, I'll take Dallas. 12.5 is a lot, but I mean, like I said, I just don't see how Arizona's going to score. Next is Pittsburgh at Las Vegas. I'll take Las Vegas -2.5. Pittsburgh genuinely looks horrible. The reason they beat Cleveland is because Deshaun Watson handed it to them. I think they're like the only team in NFL history to have a fourth quarter comeback with negative yardage. I think they need I don't know. I don't like their offensive coordinator, Matt Canada. His play callings are horrible. His play designs are horrible. You have one of the best receivers in the league in George Pickens, and they just never throw it to him. And It's ridiculous. So if I think like if they're often like they need to if they want to keep their coordinator, they have to prove to me that their offense is capable of scoring touchdowns, which sounds simple, but I mean they're I don't know. They can't do it. Um Also the Raiders should be able to run on them. That's why Jimmy G struggled last week. His Buffalo just took away the run, and when everything is on Jimmy G, he can't do it. So they'll be able to run on them, and that'll help Jimmy out. So I'll take Las Vegas minus 2.5. And then we'll do the Monday games. We have Philadelphia at Tampa. This one's tricky. The line's 5. It was 6.5. Moved down to 4.5. Now it's 5. Um, this is a good test for both teams. Tampa, like they have a good team. It's just a matter of is Baker gonna suck again, just randomly, like how he does. They have great receivers, great defense. Um, One thing that they're gonna have to deal with is Philadelphia's defensive line. The two teams that Tampa has played, Minnesota and Chicago, they don't have a good defensive line. So they're going to be tested there. And for Philadelphia, they have some injuries in the secondary. I think Maddox is out for the season, so their slot, they they're going to have guys from off the street. They still have Slay and Bradbury and Blankenship, but none of those guys play inside. They always play outside, so it might be hard to get them to play inside. So you probably want someone else playing the slot. So I'm pretty worried about that. But it looks like Blankenship's gonna be back. It looks like Gainwell is gonna be back and Bradbury. Um, I don't like it, but I'm gonna take Eagles minus the 5. It kind of feels like a trap though. I'm partly only taking it because I'm an Eagles fan. Um, so to let that be known. And yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a good test for both teams. And then finally, Los Angeles Rams at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's favored by 3, but I'm going to take the Rams plus 3 because I don't think Burrow is healthy. He's currently questionable, and I'd like to see him play a game where he looks healthy, especially with like the calf injury, with what happened to Aaron Rodgers. They're going to want to be really safe with him, so he might not play. And if that's the case, I'm going to take the Rams. The Rams play hard. I know everyone thought they were going to be horrible, including me, but they play hard, and Stafford still looks good. While he's healthy. Um, it's kind of like the Lions, where back when Stafford played for the Lions, whereas like if Stafford had a good game, they were fine, but if he had a bad game, they were gonna lose, and that's kind of how it feels with the Rams. So yeah, I'd like to see it from Cincinnati before picking them, and also the plus 3. Probably buy that to 3.5. And that's about it. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, last week we went 9-5-1, which was my first time picking the whole slate. And yeah, so I guess I'll just keep a total of how I do over the season. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll probably make a Sunday night video, recapping the day, and yeah, feel free to comment on a game that you like or how you think something will go or whatever. And yeah, thanks for watching.